morning, everyone. My name is Kate Taylor, and I'm the founder of Grit and Grace Leadership Talks. And I am going to do an episode with you today around grace in leadership and life. I thought every other episode, I'm going to do a little chat with something I'm learning or something I've been looking into with you all. And I hope that this topic today resonates. And, you know, a lot of us have grit in leadership and business and life, but I think having that grace is definitely essential as well. And so I thought I'd delve a bit deeper into what that looks like as a leadership role and in life in general. And how do we show grace to ourselves when we're going through a lot of stuff? So I've got some notes here I'm going to follow along that I've written for you, but I hope that you will enjoy this today. And give me some feedback afterwards or comments below when you've listened to this and let me know your thoughts. So let's delve in. So we've got grace in leadership. What is the definition of that? So leaders with grace look at people as contributors. They evaluate them in an open mind and, better yet, an open heart. They look at the good side and assume the best. They look at life as one of abundance rather than scarcity. In leadership, it's not about individual. It's about the collective purpose. Grace then becomes the grease that enables people to smooth over the rough patches, as well as the glue that holds us together in the pursuit of a common cause. Our purpose for what we do and why we do it. Don't you love that? I love that the grace becomes the grease that enables people to smooth over the rough patches. Don't you love that? I thought that was worth sharing with you today. And then I wanted to share with you 5 simple ways we can show grace in the workplace as business leaders. Now that we know the importance of showing grace to our colleagues and the positive impact it can have on the workplace relationships, let's take a look at some specific ways we can practice grace in the workplace. The first one is support. One of the simplest ways you can show grace is through support and helping your co-workers when they need it, whether it means offering you to take over something during a busy period or just being there, a listening ear when they're having a rough time or a difficult task that they're dealing with. This can all have a big impact on someone's day. If you as a manager offer grace to your staff when they need it, for example, offering support and guidance through a difficult project or decision, you can help create a positive workplace culture. The next one's a tricky one. It's forgiveness. Another important aspect of grace is the willingness to let go of past mistakes and forgive others. When we hold on to grudges or anger, our co-workers, it can harm our relationship and it can make it more difficult to work together as a team. When we practice grace, however, we are able to see other people's actions from their perspective and understand that they may have been struggling to go through something difficult themselves. And that is why they've said something that's upset you, or they've maybe been a bit harsh or direct in their approach to you. It's, there's always more going on. I know an example of this, my sister actually was telling me a story about one of her managers and how she got her head bitten off, it felt like she said, for raising awareness about something that she'd made a mistake on in quoting someone's salary package. Now, obviously you can imagine that would be a bit of an awkward conversation to have with your manager or a director of a business. And then when she did speak up, she got told off basically. And then afterwards felt really really upset, and it really ruined her day. And it made me realize that, so often it's not about the person that you're lashing out at or the person that's made that comment as a manager. It's got nothing to do with you as a person. It's actually to do with them and something that's going on in their world. So just always having that perspective of there's something greater going on when someone reacts to you or says something that upsets you or offends you. There's something more going on in that person's day that's made them react that way. Often it's not about you, but you might have been this final straw that broke the camel's back and be causing that feeling of frustration and anger. And it's unfortunate when it happens, but it's important to kind of put yourself in their shoes and imagine, the different challenges they might be dealing in their day or what could have been going on for them. And just showing that bit of grace can go a long way. The next one's encouragement. You can always show grace by offering compliments and encouragement to your colleagues. This might be complimenting them on an accomplishment in a project or something they did well. It could be something that you you just send them a little note, a text, or write a little handwritten note to put on their desk saying, hey, I really value you and the work you're doing, and I appreciate what you did in that project. Keep shining bright. Something like that can just make all the difference in someone's day. So I just encourage you to look at where you can bring more encouragement into your workplace. Clear communication is the next one. Another important way to show grace in the workplace is by willing to admit when you have made a mistake or you could have done something better. This shows that you're willing to take responsibility for your actions from your mistakes, which can help build trust with your colleagues and clients. By implementing your workplace communication, you can be sure the words you are using always give grace and show respect to your employees. Now, I'm the first to admit, like, when I've done something wrong, and I actually openly say that to my team. Look, we could have handled this better, or this went wrong because of the way we handled this. Let's review. Let's take stock. And I'm the first to also, say to them, look, I know I am very experienced, but I'm dealing with a challenge here that I haven't dealt with before. So, just be a bit more gracious with each other around that, and being clear that you are navigating that too as a leader is actually really, that power of vulnerability is really powerful. And I think it builds respect and trust from your team. It also helps them to be able to own when they've made a mistake and say, you know what, Kate, this went wrong, but I handled it, or I could have done this better. And it's about being reflective in that. So obviously being clear about what you need, but then also being clear when things haven't gone well, and reviewing it. What are the lessons I need to learn for next time so we don't make this mistake again? That often comes up with interview feedback I get from clients for candidates when they haven't done well. It's a tricky one. And often I've told my team, look at the feedback we're getting from different people and make sure the candidates we put forward next time are not going to display those things that they're coming up with, and show that make sure they're clear and confident to explain themselves in a more in-depth way, or answer that question in a different angle. But yeah, making them learn from the feedback we get, that it's not a negative, but it's a chance to improve. And that leads us to understanding. Finally, grace is about understanding where others are coming from and seeing things from their perspective. And that's what I was talking about before. This means listening to what they have to say, acknowledging and validating their feelings, and being willing to compromise in order to finally find a mutually beneficial solution. That is enough to simply show grace, and you'll also be receiving grace from others, which means you'll be willing to learn and grow as a person. And that's what I was talking about with understanding, like, we don't know what's going on in different people's worlds. We have no idea. Like, they come to work and we hope that they are honest with us and share with us anything that's going on for them. But you don't know if their marriage is on the rocks. You don't know if they've gone through, they're going through fertility treatment, or they've got mental health challenges, or they've got like a child with a disability. Like, you never know what is going on for people. And so just giving that bit of understanding and empathy, and before you react to someone's strong behavior, is so powerful. And yeah, I know it's something that I'm very mindful of as a business owner. Very few times in running my business 10 years have I ever snapped at staff. I'm not perfect. I know there's one or two times, but I genuinely try and do my best to be understanding. I may be frustrated in that moment. And what I do is I just step away. I stew on it overnight. I might talk to another friend in business or my partner and just kind of process what it is that is happening before I go back and confront that person from a calm place, rather than a place of stress and anxiety and maybe saying something you regret. I think that was the biggest thing, because I've experienced that with bosses where they literally just blow up in front of the whole office and embarrass you so badly, to the point where you just feel so humiliated, to the point where you feel so undervalued and you just want to quit, like literally, or go into the bathroom and cry. So I've been there, and that's why I try not to do that to my team, because I know how it feels. So just put yourself in their shoes too and think, oh, when I was an employee, what would this situation be like for me? And appreciate that not everyone will respond or do what you want them to do in the way you want them to do it, because everyone has their own unique style, their own personality, and their own way of doing things. So I think it's about giving that understanding and grace in that. At the end of the day, grace is about treating others with compassion and understanding, even during times of stress and conflict. Whether it's offering support during difficult times, forgiving past mistakes, or simply acknowledging someone's efforts, grace allows us to maintain positive and productive relationships with our colleagues and clients in the workplace. It's not always easy to give grace, but as managers and business leaders, it's our responsibility to set the tone and create the environment where grace is valued and encouraged. Whether you are dealing with a difficult client or a colleague, or simply need support during a challenging project, remember that grace is one of the most powerful tools we have at our disposal. One that can help us create positive workplace relationships and build a stronger, more collaborative team. With a little bit of grace, anything is possible. And then this leads me into grace in life. So obviously we talked about ways to have grace in the workplace, but what about for ourselves? I know it's really hard, especially if you're a high achiever, have high goals and higher targets, and you want to achieve certain things at work, or you have a project you're trying to do, and it can be all consuming, right? And so what I want to challenge you on is a few things you can do in your personal life to show grace to yourself. And a bit of self-care and love. I think self-love is so underrated. And I think how can we show up the best we can be and give grace to our teams if we're not giving grace to ourselves and showing love and care for our own well-being? I think that's our responsibility as leaders to do that. So I hope that resonates to you. I know it's something I'm always working on. So something I wanted to remind you of, and something that's been going around social media at the moment, is glimmer moments in life. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's the opposite of a trigger. It's the moments that make you happy, joyful, or grateful. So I want you to think about this week, what is a glimmer moment in my week? For me, it might be picking up my daughter from school and taking her to gymnastics and watching her train, going for a walk with a friend in the park. For me, coffee at my favorite coffee shop just is a glimmer moment for me. I don't know. My daughter was joking with me in the car last night and said, I don't know which you love more, Mum, coffee or your phone. She goes, I'm thinking it's coffee. So yes, coffee does make me have a glimmer moment. Filming content like this for you guys really boosts my energy and makes me feel positive for the day. And having little date nights with my hubby, something we're trying to do every week while my daughter's at gymnastics for so many hours, is snapping away for an hour and a half or so to have a little date night while she's training after work. So that's something we're trialing at the moment. We're really enjoying once a week having that connection point. And yeah, I think it's like once you train yourself to look for these glimmer moments every day, when you're feeling like, frustrated, or you need to give yourself some more grace, you will see these glimmers in your life. And 3 questions I thought to end on around your goals. If you're feeling like you're really not nailing the grace side in your life, and you're frustrated because the goals you had in mind are not quite going to plan, I want to give you 3 questions you can ask yourself. The first one is, what do I need to stop doing to achieve my goal? Say, for example, I want to run a marathon. Well, what habits have I got in my life that I need to stop doing in order to do that? It might be, hey, I'm going to stop staying up late watching Netflix because I'm going to get up early in the morning and go for that run in the morning to get my exercise in. Or it might be your diet or some kind of habits that you have that you need to improve on. The next question is, what do I need to start doing? Rituals, habits, etc. Just as I was saying. to achieve that goal. So how do you plan out your week? How do you make time to train for this marathon? What do you need to do? Do you need to get a coach? Do you need to get a nutritionist? What does that look like? Are you someone that can do marathons easily, or are you not? Just having a think about that, and then start implementing those rituals in order to gain your goal. The last thing is something you need to look at as, what do I need to continue doing? So you might be already doing meal prep on a Sunday, so you're feeling good about that. So keep doing those things and give yourself a bit of a pat on the back, and look at other things that you're doing really well in your routine, that you feel like you're nailing, being organized or what have you. Then keep doing that, because that's also important. So sometimes setbacks are actually a setup for something bigger and greater than you have ever imagined. If you're feeling like this, I see you and I get you, and I believe that blessings are on the way. So keep the faith. And finally, I wanted to leave you with a quote, as we always have a quote in this series, and it's on grace and leadership. It's from Jimmy Blackman. So, to lead with grace, we must inspire those who follow us. Graceful leaders understand servant leadership. They are willing to listen, quick to admit when they are wrong, and they exhibit a calm poise and under pressure. They display high emotional intelligence. Now, I hope that you love that. I've really enjoyed kind of sharing with you stuff I'm learning at the moment, and I've been talking to people about in life and business. And I just encourage you all to showcase a little bit more grace in life, and for yourself firstly, and then for your team and your and the staff that are under you. What could you be doing? Just to recap, those 5 ways we can show grace in the workplace is through support, forgiveness, encouragement, clear communication, and understanding. I hope this helps you today, and I encourage you to go out and kick your goals and do whatever you want to do with grace in your leadership today.